Rachel Hunter was telling us how the business has changed before we took our break, and studies now show that, as I said, 67% of women are plus size. That's a size 14 or over. It means your mother, your sister, your best friend, you, me. For the vast majority of my adult life, it was actually me. You won't believe some of the stuff women who wear over a size 12 have to put up with these days just to find an outfit that looks good on them. Here with more, Lisa Scott is a plus size model. She's one of the best in the business, and she's a spokesmodel for Avenue Stores. Abby Z is a designer who specializes in clothes for plus size women. I'm wearing many outfits made by Abby Z. And in Savannah, Georgia is Marshall Cohen, the chief industry analyst for the NPD Group, a market research firm. Basically, he's a retail industry expert. And I told Marshall in the commercial I'm going to get to him in just a minute, but I want to set up some of the conflict as we talk about it. Lisa, I'll say for the record that for many years that I was on The View, you were me. Every time there was a stand-in as it related to models, you were me.
Yes, Don, I'm mad at you because I can't run with that story anymore.
You can run with it 24/7. I'm still honored that someone so beautiful would ever be me.
So
I'm looking at, my producer Mia, when we were talking about this segment, she said, Star, you won't believe just some of the treatment, the crappy treatment that the plus size customer has to go through just to get a good outfit. Why don't you tell us about it?
So I got to tell you a story that recently happened to me. I was in LA, went to one of the mega malls that holds over 200 stores. I went into one of the major retailers and I asked, where's the plus size division? I was told, take the escalator downstairs, then go down again and walk to the back. I was met with the most limited, inadequate line of plus size clothing that I've ever seen. It was insulting. There was a bigger selection of chocolate candy bars at the register than it was of fashion. That is why I'm such an advocate to plus size women to don't put your money where your mouth is. Put your mouth where your money is. Write an email, write a letter, and tell. You're a consumer. We are a $32 billion industry. Tell what you want. Ask for what you want.
And don't take it anymore if you don't get it, basically. No. And Abby, that's what you're talking about. You're a designer of plus size clothing whose motto is, it's good to be me. Is it good to be a plus size consumer right now? Because I have to tell you, for me, I have my stores. I would go into the Lane Bryant, I would go into the Avenue, I would go into Ashley Stewart. I, ordered offline to NewportNews.com. I mean, those were my stores. Every pair of drawers I had until, 4 years ago came from Lane Bryant. Talk about TMI up in this piece. So right now, you have a lot of women out there who say, well, we do have choices, but they are still limited, aren't they?
It's so limited. I think every woman is sexy at every size, so that's why I started.
As long as you're healthy, because I'm not going to be on TV talking about that you need to be 350 pounds, because unless you're Shaquille O'Neal and bouncing the ball up and down the court, you don't need to be 350 pounds. Any more than you need to be 6 pounds, unless you're a baby.
Correct.
Okay.
So I'm going to build a sexy contemporary store.
Yes.
Called Abby Z. And hopefully we'll launch it in New York and hopefully Philadelphia in the next 2008 to come.
Well, what is it that you're hoping to accomplish, with a sexy new store?
It's going to service every woman. You're going to be able to put on mascara and lip gloss, the minimal that every woman should walk out and feel good about themselves, which is really my motto. It's a service store.
So to make you feel pretty, because Lisa, I have to tell you, you've been in this industry for a long time. The fit models nowadays for plus size is not your typical 16 or 18 anymore, is it?
Exactly, Star. And that is why I'm so proud of the Avenue. I work in a dual role with them, not only as a spokesmodel, but also their real live size 18 fit model. So they get to see the garment on me. And they are very smart. They ask questions. Why doesn't this work? They want to know the who, what, when, and why isn't a garment selling or working. So I'm taking my information from out in the field, talking to women, and I'm bringing it back to the top designers and the marketing department, and I'm telling them, Let's make changes, guys. This is what women want.
Well, I'm getting ready to talk to the person who would know whether or not changes are actually getting ready to be made. Let's go to Marshall Cohen. Marshall, you are the expert in this area. You've heard us talking about it. This is not a new subject that we're bringing up. Why aren't retailers meeting the needs of women? What's the bottom line?
The key here is to recognize that this is the most untapped opportunity for the retail industry. And I've been talking about this for probably now almost 5 years, to talk to the retailers and talk to the brands about recognizing that the biggest growing part of the population is women and women of size. And when you begin to recognize that, for the longest of time, they've been kind of left out with very limited choices. You just heard several good examples of it. Some of the retailers are trying to find ways to reach out to this larger size customer. We even saw the department stores a year and a half ago announce that they were going to increase the assortments of the plus size business and mix it in with the regular size product. It didn't work for them.
Why didn't it work? I mean, when you say it doesn't work, why didn't it work? Because people are spending money.
They forgot to tell the customer.
No advertising.
And well, what they didn't do is they didn't tell anybody, and they didn't make it easy. So what happened was they were under so much pressure for instant results. What ends up happening is they sit there and say, oh, it doesn't work. They give it about 5 weeks for it to work. If it doesn't work within 5 weeks, they move on to something else. So what we're beginning to see is the market that's, in the plus size business itself, they're recognizing it. You heard what the Avenue is doing. Recognize what Lane Bryant is doing. Lane Bryant has gone out and made a significant investment in larger assortments for the plus size customer. You now have 3 choices of one particular size to fit your body better. That's revolutionary in all of fashion. This is something that's needed anyway. Not all bodies are created equal, and that means even for yourself. You might be a plus size in the top and not even a plus size in the bottom, or vice versa. So
you should be able to go to the same department and get your top and your bottom, and not be made to feel like you're the fat girl, odd girl out, basically.
You got it right. You're exactly right. What's happened is the industry is starting to hear rumblings that they need to address this. And the more you talk about it, the more your guests talk about it, the more we, try to get the industry to wake up and recognize where the growth is going to come from, the more they'll finally start to address this. And they're getting success from it, because when you begin to recognize this consumer is also the most demanding consumer, in the sense that they have the least built-up wardrobe, but now want to look just as fashionable as anybody else. And in many cases, it's not even large. This is not about large anymore. This is about just bigger. And as we get bigger as a population, that doesn't mean that we don't want to be fashionable. So the retailers and the manufacturers are just now starting to recognize this.
Marshall, I want to thank you for bringing us an industry perspective as I come back in studio with the ladies here. In all honesty, girls, the fashion industry may not want the image of the overweight person to be mixed with their fashion image.
That is exactly the problem, Star. When designers and retailers think of plus size women, they think of boring, sad, unhappy. For some reason, happiness is equated with thinness. We are smart, vibrant, sexy women, and we want contemporary, current clothes.
Exhibit A, Exhibit B. Our thanks to our guests, Lisa Scott, Abby Z, and of course Marshall Cohen, who put it all in perspective. Up next is my open letter about lust. Don't go anywhere. You have to hear it.